Great to be here. One of the last presentations of the day. I'll present an amazing tech company. I just walked over here. We're sitting at the Media Evolution, 200 meters away from here. Two extremely interesting areas that we're working in, digital payments, as well as computer vision. And I would argue that this is probably two of the hottest areas in the world right now, moving extremely fast. And I've chosen here sort of survival of the fittest. This is something that Darwin talked about, that it's not about the species which are the strongest that survive. It's not even the most intelligent, but the ones that survive are the ones that are most responsive to change. And we work in environments here, digital payments, which is extremely fast-moving at the moment, as well as computer vision. And the only reason, I think, to be a successful company is to be extremely, extremely adaptable. And we are extremely innovative, we patent our things, and we sort of, even if we're a very small company, we come up with new ideas in these two extremely hot areas. In each of those two areas, digital payments and gesture interaction, we are less than 10 people in each area. And what I will try to explain to you is sort of how our technology is applied to use cases in each of these areas. And also, what are our customers? Who are we approaching with this? Because I think, even if we've been around for a while, but Crunchfish is a little bit of an odd company. Being a very small company, we are sort of less than 25 people in total in the company, and still daring to go after two such big areas. And I will also talk about how we have adapted our technology. You will see our roadmap, or how we have taken ourselves to where we are today. And then what I will also do, because we have, in the area of digital cash, we have been using digital cash for what is called offline payments. You do have no connectivity whatsoever. But we've recently announced that you can use digital cash also in an online context. And that confuses people. And I will try today to explain how that all fits together. And I will do it in two contexts that I think you're all familiar with. One is for Swish. I think you all are users of Swish. How can Swish benefit from digital cash? I'd like to describe that to you. And then I'll take a little bit more in the future view as well. And that's another extremely hot area. And that is what is called CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. Our cash in Sweden certainly are going away, and the central bank who issue cash, they want to have a digital version of that, and that's what's called CBDC. And in Sweden we're calling it the e-kronan. And I'll show you how digital cash complements e-krona. So here we go. Nailed. All right, let's start with computer vision. Computer vision and what we do with gesture control in computer vision. We've always been about gesture control, controlling the hands. And recently, we started to track 21 points on every single hand. And that's what you see in the top left corner here. It's sort of, for each finger, there are 4 points, and there is one in the sort of center of the hand. We track that in real time using just a normal camera. And the use case for this, we started off working in the use case for mobile screens, where you can take a selfie by just doing a pose, and then that triggered the camera. But the use case we've been working for the last sort of years is within AR, VR. Because in a mobile phone, you have a screen, so you can touch something. But with these kind of glasses, this is the N-Reels glasses here, for consumer use, you don't have a screen. So how are you supposed to interact with that? Well, hands are really a good example of how you can interact with that. The hot area right now that the team is working on is that these glasses are going to come out with dual cameras. and we have just actually sent it to one of the major developers in the world and got back that they got it to work with dual cameras using gesture control. So that's quite exciting how we can actually achieve that. Using the same platform, we generalized the whole thing that instead of tracking 21 points on a hand, we instead track 21 points on a body. So all of a sudden, we trained our algorithm, because this is all about machine learning, artificial intelligence. We train a computer to understand that this is a hand, and this is what a hand does, or what a body does. And the use case for this would be public screens. This could be a TV. Your hand, basically, or your body becomes the remote control. Or that you can interact with public screens like that for big digital signage. An area which is becoming extremely hot at the moment, because now this is the regulatory reasons. There will be laws saying that the cars need to track whether you become drowsy, whether you hold a mobile phone in your hand. Then the car should warn for that, just like you don't have your seatbelts on. This will be law requirements coming out. So a lot of the car manufacturers and the component manufacturers for the car industry are looking extremely into this area at the moment. And we are pursuing this. So, and I think we are quite unique in the world that we can combine understanding in the combined model what both the body is doing as well as the hand. And that's we're applying here for the automotive. In this case, as you know, when you drive when it's dark, you can't use a normal camera because it's simply the camera, it will just be dark. So here we have to train our fantastic algorithm for infrared light. So that's something that emits light, so you can, in that way, still use the algorithms and the solution, even when it's sort of dark. This has taken a long way for us. This area, sort of, Crunchfish was founded in 2010. I came in as the chairman of the company, as the first seed investor, 2012. And we had a product 2013 in the market. And as I said before, it could do selfies. That if you go to App Store, if you have an iOS, you can download GoCam, and you can try it. This is our first product, already out 2013. It's a free product on App Store. Then we started with smart glasses already 2015. We started to do tracking as well 2018. And we started to introduce something which you can, I don't know if you can read it there, but it's that middle product there, XR tracking, is based on image analysis, which are classical algorithms, but also neural nets. This is where we start really to train our computer, giving them loads of pictures. And the computer understands itself what is a hand and how to interpret that. This is where we started with. And look for these exoskeleton and the next generation exoskeleton. The exoskeleton is when we had these 21 points that I talked about, but it's purely based on neural nets. These are amazing algorithms that the computer trains itself, basically, but we bombard it with a lot of pictures that it starts to understand what it is. And we have now come up with the next generation of exoskeleton, deploying it in very many different settings. Automotive, large screen, as I said, as well as then for both body and with dual cameras. And it's just an amazing development sort of done by the team here. And who is interested in this? Well, all manufacturers of these AR/VR in the car area. If you develop a car or a component for a car, or if you're a TV manufacturer or a digital screen, this is our customer base for this sort of area here. The other area that we have as well is digital cash. And what is then digital cash? Well, digital cash is our solution for how to complement any of those payment schemes. It can be CBDC, central bank digital currency. This is the central banks giving a digital version of cash out in the market. And it could be cards, the card scheme. It could be crypto, or it could be account. Swish is a perfect example of an account-to-account payment scheme. You pay from one account to another instantly, in real time. That's that sort of scheme. And I think the two hottest areas right now in the market is account-to-account, like Swish. Everybody understands how Swish is just exploding here in Sweden, and that happens with other solutions all around the world. And then all central banks, almost, are looking into, should we issue central bank digital currency? And that's why I've chosen these two to discuss more with you and make it in a Swedish setup, Swedish scene of Swish and the e-krona, and explaining how digital cash complements that. And what digital cash does for any of those is that at the moment of purchase, when you purchase something, we could do that instantly, guaranteed, works all the time, that you get a confirmation that the payment is done. That is what we deliver. But you could argue, but doesn't Swish do that as well? And won't CBDC also do that as well? Yes, they will, in the happy flow, when everything works. But these systems will only work when they work. And we give them that comfort that they can work even when they don't work. That's what we bring here with our digital cash. Our sort of journey here in this area of digital cash has started sort of a little bit later than in the gesture area. It started sort of in 2016, and it started with something called, a bubble or nearby. Second generation was Blipit. Third generation ProxyLink, which these three first ones are all based on a proximity solution. You transfer something from someone to someone else in proximity. But what we are now at is digital cash. We said, regardless of the proximity solution or how you transfer information, what's more interesting is more of a full payment solution called digital cash. We started with digital cash offline. The great thing with that is that it has no dependencies. You don't need the network. You don't need, everything can be down. You can still pay. But it comes with one drawback. You have to pre-install things in order to make that happening. And now, what we recently announced is digital cash online as well, which provides a plethora of more opportunities because we have that. And let me then challenge myself to go through this and explain this in more detail here. Now we are at the digital cash, what we're working on here. This is an instant payment system, and you can think of this as Swish. This is more or less what Swish looks like. At the bottom, you have the payment app. This is what you have in your hand, the payer. And you pay to either a person, you just swish over to another person, or you use Swish in a store. The payment service there in the middle, this is the Swish backend, if you in that context. And then instantly, money is moved from the payer bank via a switch, payment switch, over to payee bank. So there's no risk in the system. A card system has risk. There is delays. Here is no delay. It's really truly an instant payment system. So payment and settlement is in the same step. You pay between a payer and a payee, and the settlement, which is moving money between accounts, happens in the same step. This is a great system, and Swish has great uptime, so I love Swish. I've used it myself, and I think most of you does as well. But let me show you how we complement this. Because the weakness of Swish is what says here in the bottom. No party can be offline. You can't be offline as a payer. You need to have connectivity. You have to be able to connect to the Swish backend. Otherwise, you can't pay. And also, the payer bank needs to be online. And what you see often in the paper, and that comes always at the banner of Aftonbladet, it says, Swish is down. I'll tell you, it's very seldom Swish that are down. But what's down is the banks. It's either, say the Nordea bank. That means that you can't pay from any Nordea bank. Anyone who has Nordea can't pay. And they can't receive payment either. So that, if you take a major bank going down, it kills a lot of the Swish service in the country. But it's not them. It is actually the banks that are down. They are offline. And then it doesn't work. But we complement that. And this is our original solution. As you see at the left there, digital cash offline for instant payment. And what we need in order to have this to work is that we need a digital cash wallet which sits together with Swish in your payment app. And then it needs to be some sort of digital cash verifier on the receiving side. The process we always bring, there are 3 steps, and it's not really hard to understand. What we do is, 1, top up. We reserve money at your bank, So we have a block on it, just like you go to a hotel and you can I take the credit card imprint? They block money basically before you do it, so you can run around doing offline payments at the hotel. That's what's happening. We do the same thing here. We reserve money, so there is a top up, so you have money available to you. We don't take it out; it's still there. It's just reserved. Then, with that balance that you reserved, you can do an offline payment like this. You can verify it, and even if you're offline, that's what I have with all these dotted lines. Even if you're offline as the receiver, you could trust that this is a payment that will go through. So the payment step, number 2 here, can happen if everybody can be offline. So we really make Swish extremely robust here. Then we do the 3rd step, settlement. We do that as a subsequent step, and that's using the Swish rail, just like Swish does today. But we separate it. We reserve money, we pay offline, and we settle it. That's what we do, instead of everything happening all at once. Recently, we generalized this. Look at the digital cash verifier. There's something pre-installed that you have there at the receiving side. We moved it up. Let's assume we don't have to pre-install it there. Instead, we have it sitting in the Swish backend. This creates flexibility in the system. We don't have to basically pre-install it, but we can, if that one is online, they can go and ask. I've received a payment, is that one legit? And you get a response back. That's the situation where I'm calling digital cash, where the payer is offline. Where often come into a store, they are online because they might be on a Wi-Fi or something, but you are offline. You are in a basement, but you can still pay using that one. This is another example, which is not so common here in Sweden, because we have almost data connectivity all over Sweden. But in India, they only have data connectivity in the major cities. Otherwise, it's just telecom connectivity. Only network. You can make calls, you can send SMS, but you can't connect to any back-end service. You have no data. So this is interesting here. We still have that digital cash verifier at the center here, but we send over SMS here, the message, which still does the same thing. We have topped it up, we have some money, we can verify it, and then we settle it. So it's extremely interesting for the Indian market. Now, remember what happens when Swish goes down, which is not Swish. What goes down, as I said, is sort of the banks. But assume now with this solution, this is digital cash. Sorry, I went in the wrong direction. Here. Digital cash online here. This solution is a beautiful solution here, because we moved the wallet. There is nothing you can see down in your app or anything. We have the wallet sitting closely in the center instead. And what you do, you top up that wallet, you reserve some money. Swish is just providing basically a representation that you have reserved some money, and you hold it there. So even if these banks or the payment switch goes down, you can still do the payment. This is an extremely easy solution for Swish to implement, just to do that swap here. And that's what we bring in with the digital cash online for instant payment. I'll do this quickly. Oh, hairy. But this is the e-krona system. It's somewhat of a different model, but it's quite similar. What you have in the middle is the e-krona service here. That's the black sort of with spokes there. Payment app, payee app, and then you have, the way they set it up is that the payer could have one payment service and the payee another. And it's sort of connected that way. And here the system is that there will be a top-up first. You exchange with your money for e-kronor. That's this, I put that as the step 0, a top-up. And then this is just a Swish, a payment and settlement system where everything has to be online. The only thing that can be offline during payment is Riksbanken themselves, but everything else has to work. So again, how can we complement that? Well, we can do it with our digital cash wallet offline. We can complement all this. Same thing as we did for Swish. We still are reserving money in our digital cash wallet, so we can pay offline, we can verify it offline, and then we settle. Same thing as we had with Swish. This is digital cash offline for the e-krona. I'm doing the same thing again. I'm just doing the payer offline in this case, and then I moved that verifier up to the e-krona sort of service center there, and then you can do it this way. or SMS. But as I said, maybe not so interesting in Sweden because we have data connectivity always, but in India, when India is going to do CBDC, I'm sure this will be a hot topic to see this one. Or you do this one. Again, that beautiful solution where we had a digital cash solution or digital cash wallet sitting centrally. And that is just having a top-up, you pay online, and then you settle. So in all these three cases, I think we complement sort of the e-krona project. Last slide. So when cash goes digital, as we've been talking about for a long time, cash goes digital cash. But it's a great thing if cash also goes on, if digital cash also goes online. And that's what we have come up with quite recently. Previously, we had that digital cash offline. It means that everything can be offline. Your network connectivity, the payee, the receiver's connectivity doesn't have to work. All payment functions can be down. It works still. And it's interoperable. And by the way, this is what we got a patent for today, which is sort of our ground patent for digital cash, working the way we have designed it. So we're very happy about that. But digital cash online is providing a similar component here, but brings the offline component availability, just like digital cash offline, still interoperable, but it also make the service inclusive. You don't have to prepare anything in order to receive digital cash. You can be private, considers anti-money laundering limits, and we've done that in a clever way. And this provides for a really, really fast rollout in these systems. So we're quite excited at Crunchfish. We have created something which, with very small measures with digital cash online, can help payment services to become 100% robust. If they want you to be robust as well, even if you have connectivity, you want to complement you yourself by having something on your app, the digital cash offline as well. But these goes together. So digital cash online is an add-on to payment services, and then digital cash offline is an add-on to digital cash online. I think that is the last one. Thank you.
Thank you, Joachim. Yeah, time is running away from us,
yes.
but we at least must have one question before you leave.
Sure.
And you are very active on the patent front. You are very actively patenting new inventions all the time. And even today, you have been granted a new patent. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. This is our first one in this area of digital cash. And it is essentially patenting an offline payment, exactly as I describe it here, that you pay from a secure environment, you sign off a payment there, and then you receive it or verify it, but that doesn't have to be a secure environment. That is how our system works. Recently, we also announced that we have applied for a similar idea, but where we moved this verify, as I described it, up in the cloud. This is basically our ground patents in digital cash, that we got the offline part today, and I think the chances to get in the online part when it's been examined is sort of quite great. So this is a great day for Crunchfish that we got that one under the belt.
Well, congratulations on that, and thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you.